people, it's your boy Mac live on location once again here in San Bernardino County, man, with somebody real special. Tell the people who you are, big bro.
I'm Clint Thomas, actor slash model, doing it big, trying to make it happen. I'm also one of the members of the DFM Down For Mine label. Shout out to Sibo.
Shout out to Sibo and the whole Down For Mine record label.
All day J-Dog.
J-Dog, TK Brody,
V2,
V2, the
TK
youngest
Brody.
in charge.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, it's real special to be here with you, bro. I mean, we've been associating with each other for quite some time now, but tell the people what you do, man. Like, really what you do and what you've been doing past, present, and future, bro.
Well, first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to E2W magazine.
Appreciate you.
All the staff, big shout out. And it's been a long journey. Acting really wasn't a passion at first. It kind of like found me. That was the question, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You read on to it.
So, okay,
acting
acting actually found me just as well as modeling. So I've been around. I've went to school for it. I went to the theater academy for it, and it paid off. You know what I mean? So yeah, I respect the game a lot more, as well as modeling.
Okay. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but where exactly are you from? Just so the people know.
I'm originally from Compton. Big up to CPT.
Okay, that's what's
all
up.
day.
That's what's up. I appreciate that, man, because what we do is we try to bridge that gap, man, from the East Coast to the West Coast and everything in between, man. You deal with that unification thing. Now, I hear that you're doing something with some type of acting thing, like a movie that's going on down in straight out of Compton or something like that, dude. So,
Yeah.
Could you tell the people about that real quick?
Yeah, it's real monumental.
Yes, it is.
It's a part of history. Actually, it's a part of American history, whether you want to believe it or not.
That's right.
Because it's not just pointing out about the movement of the NWA group. It's also telling a story about what happened at that time of the NWA era. As far as like the political views and what was going on at that time with the LA riots, and so forth, and racism, and just poverty. Which is always we're always going to have poverty, but it's also talking about how to get out of the ghetto, but not necessarily just selling dope. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that was one of the messages that they were giving as far as at the time. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, also, letting us be aware of what the police are doing for people that don't know, even the white folks. You know what I mean? That they were actually letting the people know who were white or that didn't know at the time that what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Which was harassing black people. You know what I'm saying?
All right, well, that sounds real deep and real controversial. Coming from an area that you come from, man, I can definitely understand and relate. I think that a lot of ghettos and impoverished neighborhoods go through the same dilemma that you obviously experienced. So what do you have to, as a piece of good advice for youngsters and people who live in circumstances and situations like this, man? How do you guide someone like that? How do you give them instructions on how to deal and cope with these things, man? Because they are rough.
Before I answer that question, earlier when you asked me about the situation about the police, it's also universal, as far as what you were saying. It's worldwide.
Yes, it is.
And as far as that's concerned, you need more role models. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was always told that if there's a book anywhere in your house, you can pick it up and read it. So there's no excuse for you to stay in that slave mentality, metaphorically speaking.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's easier said than done, but yes, we do need more role models. I don't just mean for the black community, of course, but also in general. I mean role models as a whole.
Right. Okay, so speaking about role models, man, and all of what you've been through and where you're from, can you tell me what do you feel as though is the difference between then, the late 90s, the early 90s, till, current time? Is there a difference?
Yeah, man, it's crazy in these times, man. I mean, the 90s were crazy, but it's really crazy because it seems like, I'm a proponent of education and technology, but it seems like the more powerful the technology is, the more evil man is getting. You know what I'm saying? And you can just look at it. It's not just something that I'm saying, it's also just looking at what's going on in the world and the actions.
Okay, so politically, you've taken a stance to actually become a spokesman? An advocate, rather?
Somewhat. If somebody asks me something that I know that is true and that I've done some research on, you know, I can answer that question.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm not just gonna sit up here and say something that I don't know anything about. You know, does that make sense?
Oh, of course it does.
Yeah, you know.
If it doesn't make sense to anyone else, it makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? Because just a little quick snippet of my history, man. I've come from an impoverished area in Yonkers, of course, on the East Coast. Yes, big shout out, man, to my town, because it made someone like me, and I understand and I can relate to what it is that you guys over here on the West Coast have gone through, you know, through the LA riots and all that stuff, man. We were watching it on television, you know, and it seemed like it was something, man, that also unified a certain group of people, you know, or different groups of people throughout that adversity, you know. So I know and understand that there's a lot going on here in LA and, you know, all across the globe, man. But what are you doing specifically to change that, man?
Well, right about now, just getting out there with the awareness. And when I say the awareness, being a black man myself and just a man in general, because all men can really relate to this, as far as a good father, a good father figure, and an advocate for doing what's right. Meaning, what I'm saying overall is through my actions.
Okay.
You know, in other words, going on that positive path.
Right.
You know, to where they say, okay, this is a man right here that's doing something positive. He's constantly grinding. He's constantly moving. Every time you don't see anything negative on his Facebook pages or anything with his web pages, or he's not saying anything boasting bad things about people, even if he knows about them, which I do, but I'm not gonna put them on blast and say their names or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I just know the real. But in my opinion, that's just unprofessional. You know, and then you don't have to do that because somehow the truth always comes out about an individual anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I like the integrity factor that you maintain and that you advocate, you know. So just from that alone, it's an example, it's a book, you know, for some youngsters to read and really follow the manuscript about, you know. So I just want to say, man, that I appreciate you, man, all of what you're doing and what you have done and what you got lined up. See, I personally know you, so I know that you got some things in the woodwork, you know. You're cooking up some gumbo right now, you know. So I want to spoon to that, man, you know, on my plate, so that we can, you know, we can break bread and spread it around the globe and continue to work on advocacy, you know, even if we don't want to put a label to it. That's what we're doing. We're solid advocates by living our lifestyles a certain way.
For sure.
Okay. So listen, man, your Zoom, man. Excuse me, I'm sorry for calling you Zoom, but
It's all good. That's my name too.
That's
Call
right,
me
that's
Zoom,
right.
Clint
Okay.
Thomas. You know.
Okay.
That's what it is.
so how can the people get in contact with you, though?
I'm gonna make it simple for you. You can just Google me.
Okay.
You got all my information on Google. I'm surprised to see there's people that are working for me that that I'm doing so much that people that are like really support what I'm doing, that are doing things for me because I'm kind of computer illiterate to a certain degree.
Okay.
But thank God, you have some people that aren't, and that's willing to like help you, and especially when they see you doing something positive, and they don't have no problem supporting you.
Right.
So you can just Google me.
Okay.
And you see all my information on Facebook, Twitter. I got so many acronyms, it's not even funny.
Well, at the end of the day, man, the one that I love the most is, man, you. You know what I'm saying? The boss. You know what I'm saying? That's you, bro. And ever since I met you, man, we've been on a wonderful path, man. I've watched you continue to grow in your endeavors in life, but at the end of the day, I would like to help facilitate that and keep being a part of that growth and development in which you maintain it. Right. So at the end of the day, man, we're here live on location once again with Zoom, Clint, just to be correct with it, you know what I'm saying? This is your E2WMag.com. Once again, a special shout out to Sibo.
Sibo.
Yes, sir. Want to give a shout out to Sibo and Big Dwight.
Big Dwight too.
Yes, sir. So it's your boy Mac live on location. Peace.
Let me say one more thing before you cut. DFM for life. Better recognize we coming.
J-Dot and V12.
All day.
That's right.